Hello and welcome back to the Perth to Paisley podcast, episode number 105. Since we've been away, there's been a lot of positivity for Hearts, and it's quite an anomaly for this podcast. As ever, I am Daniel McIver, joined by Adam Kennedy to speak about multiple wins, new contracts, new players. Adam, how are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm loving following Falling Apart FC, the most informed team, in the entire country over the last six, seven Scottish Premiership games. So all's well over here. How are you?
I'm very much the same. I saw a stat earlier that it was like in the last 13, we've lost two, drawn one, and then won the other 10, like nine, and the last nine have come in an
Bloody hell.
unbeaten run. Like, it's very much a weird time to be a Hearts fan because we're not used to this type of complete positivity. But it's great. No one complain because we know it can come back very quickly that we're all shit.
Don't you worry. I'll still find a way to get a
You
couple of
will.
complaints in here.
You will. And listen,
It's never that rosy in the garden, surely.
exactly. Let's start with the least positive thing about this podcast. So,
Nice.
as we say, we've got 3 games to talk about. So, we're not going to do the usual going through every game, speaking about the team. What did you think of? Because we just don't have enough time. It would be a 3-hour episode, and you can't be us putting up with us for an hour barely, never mind 3.
And
So,
it's redundant now anyway. It's always
exactly.
on the here and now, isn't it? So yeah, we'll brush over, the two. We've done this really well, I have to say. You've chosen this impeccably,
Yep.
I must add, because those first 2 games, holy moly.
Yeah, interesting. It's going to be a laugh. So, the first thing we will cover is take your mind all the way back to a week past Saturday, and Hearts turned up at Magath at Ainsley Park to take on Spartans in the 4th round of the Scottish Cup. We managed to get through it very narrowly.
I was going to say a largely forgettable trip to Pilton.
Yes, exactly. To be honest, as most trips are. But we win 2-1. Kenny Vargas opens the scoring, continuing his fine form that he was in. 3 goals in as many games at the time. Grant crosses the ball in. However, it's stodgy. It's traditional lower league lack of dominance.
It is
Yeah,
Hearts.
like we had a lot of the ball not doing much with it. Getting to the second half, the most Hearts thing ever is that we get an absolute raker scored against us as James Cragen scores a volley from the edge of the box. You're thinking this is going to extra time from the way it was. I was in the ground dreading the idea of extra time, particularly knowing we had a game in 3 days. But thankfully, Alex Cochrane swings the ball in and Frankie Kent gets his first goal for the club in the 92nd minute to take us through. We will speak about the draw in a minute, but generally, do you just view it as it doesn't matter, we got through and that's the important thing?
Yeah, I seem to remember being a lot angrier on the day, but then I suppose there's been 2 games since and we've picked up maximum points in them, so I can't really be too critical about that again. My primary concern throughout that Spartans game was just a lack of creativity, McIver. Like it's all well and good having as much
Life without
possession as you
Lauren
want.
Shankland, basically.
Exactly. No Shanklin, no Mackay, no various others that could potentially provide a spark. I was clamoring for creativity after this, so you won't have seen me at halftime of the Dundee game. But I digress. We'll get there eventually. Concerned a wee bit. Look, don't get me wrong. I didn't expect a classic. I thought maybe a 2-goal victory would do us. First game back after the break, just a wee bit rusty. I don't know. I didn't expect a classic by any means, but by the same breath, I didn't expect us to nearly make as much of a pig's ear as we did of it, if that makes sense.
Do you think part of the reason you're not as angry is potentially because you've seen a couple other Premiership and Championship sides go out from lower league sides and kind of go,
Yeah, maybe.
oh yeah, actually, it is getting through that's important.
Yeah, and I think also, like, people say it's only Spartans. It was only Brora Rangers till they beat us.
Yep.
So I think it's good that we've had that defeat to kind of not take anything too much for granted. We saw it with Aberdeen getting beat off Darvel last year. Like totally. These things can happen. Banana skins are out there, and as you say, I think there was 3 Premiership teams that were eliminated in that round of the cup. So
Yeah.
yeah, a job done, but by no means a classic. To be honest with you, there was a part of me that thought I'm relieved that I didn't bother my arse to try and scramble for a ticket because I was like, that just would not have been worth the time and effort and making that trip. But I hope that you had fun because it did look
It
quite
was
good.
it was like a novelty,
Yeah,
but
and we just avoided the embarrassment. I
yeah,
mean, it's still somewhat embarrassing, but we're through, so who cares?
I was very happy that Kent scored because of
As was I.
the way that the ground was. It was kind of like the far side, well, as the camera's looking on at the game, the left hand side was predominantly Hearts fans, the right hand side was predominantly Spartans, but there was still people mixed in about because it's just that. And right in front of where me and my dad were standing, basically alongside us was like 7 teenagers, early 20s Spartans fan who were giving it so fucking large in the second half. So I was kind of like, get it fucking
That's
up, yes.
yeah,
And
that's
Ken
that's quite
scored.
pleasing.
I was chuffed.
I have to say, my missus predicted a 3-0 win for Hearts, but she did get two of the goal scorers, Vargas and
Wow.
Kent. So not a million miles
That's
away.
not
And those
bad
are
at
tough.
all. So, as Adam says, we get through. And we then get the draw a
Thank
couple
God.
of nights later. I'll be honest, I was just expecting us to be away at Ibrox at home to Hibs. A big thing.
After making an absolute meal of
Yep,
Spartans.
exactly. And I said before the game,
Oh
I
God.
wanted either Ayr, Bonnyrigg, or Airdrie. And the team we get is Airdrieonians away, which is, again, a novelty. It's a ground I've never been to and would like to get to go to.
Oh, it's a ground I've been to, but
Yeah,
it'll be
so
nice to get out of it.
how are you feeling about it? In a minute, I'll read the whole draw, but how are you feeling about our draw specifically?
I look, we should have enough, but again, can't take anything for granted given St Johnstone obviously fell victim to Airdrie
Yep.
in the previous round. So, and a former Hearts striker, of course, with the goal to on Craig Levine and co. Um, yeah, I think it'll be a good game.
So do I.
The timing's bizarre. It's not a
Yeah.
5 o'clock on a Sunday.
Yep. TV.
Oh, mind you, I mean, it could be worse. Friday night is what Morton Motherwell, so
Yeah.
that ought to be a cracker. I'll be sure to tune in
Yep.
for that.
The
Um,
80th time they've played each other the last 5 years in this competition, it feels like.
yeah, as you say, look, for Hearts fans of a certain vintage, they're not remotely arsed about Airdrie away, but I know that there was a good few that were
Oh,
going,
my dad
"Oh
was like,
my
oh, for
God."
fuck's sake, getting Vietnam flashbacks, basically.
I think once I told my dad the draw, he just let out, "Oh."
Yeah. Because
But
listen,
not an optimism, or it was more just a gentle reminder of the ghosts of Scottish Cup past.
yeah. And they are not the same Airdrie that a few years ago our shite team battered 5-0. Like,
No,
they're a
they're a
very
very
different
credible
outfit.
championship team.
Yeah.
Not one that we can take for granted. Obviously, that park,
Yeah.
and through there as well, it could be crazy, but as all the makings of a smashing cup tie.
Yeah, definitely. The rest of the draw is Aberdeen at home to Bonnyrigg.
What a
Obviously,
draw that is for
I
the Rosy
know.
Posy, can I just say?
I
That is some good dough.
There'll be,
I think there might be a wee hit in the heart support, unless they is that the Saturday?
yeah, I think
Could
so.
make a weekend of it, but that's Jesus, that'd be some good.
Aye, that would be. As we say, Airdrie at home to us, Morton at home to Motherwell, and then Inverness play Hibs up in Inverness. Duncan
That
Ferguson against Hibs. That's going
that
to be a
could be a
laugh.
banana skin. That
That
could be
could
well
be.
worth watching. I
Very
can't
much
believe
could
that's
be.
not on the telly, by the way.
I know it's crazy.
I
It's
thought I
crazy.
thought that would have been an absolute shoo-in.
Yeah, it's
And
easily
certainly in
one of the bigger
comparison
games.
to Morton Motherwell,
Yep.
with all due respect to both of them, but never mind.
Definitely. Killie are at home to Brora or Cove, which still hasn't been played.
But it's being played tonight as we record.
Exactly, yeah. So we might know by the end of the episode who Killie
After
have.
two call-offs.
This is the third attempt at the game. Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Absolutely nuts.
Partick Thistle play Livingston at home. A tie
Great
that they
win
will
for
be
the Jags
buzzing.
as well. Can I
Yeah,
just say getting it right round Ross County, which was
exactly.
quite funny.
And then Derek Adams was just like, yeah, I wish I hadn't taken this job, actually. Fuck you. And it was like, all right, Derek, tell us how you feel.
Week by week, just crazier comments from that man in the press. Gotta love it.
Mental. And then the Old Firm, Rangers get Ayr at home and Celtic get St Mirren away. So
Great
that's the
money
rest
spinner
of the
for
trip.
Ayr, but Celtic, that could be another win
That's
for
the
you.
thing. St Mirren will be
That's a
like,
good tie.
okay, well,
Yeah, I think we should look at that with pleasure, that tie, because that's a decent, or one of the more likely outfits to reach the latter stages then out,
yeah,
which is good.
absolutely. So that is for the future. However, we only had to wait one day more to be back in action from the draw because our rescheduled game from October was finally taking place. Now, it was quite controversially taking place, seeing as it was in biblical levels of wind and rain. The bridges were all shut. So as a result, Dundee fans were just the trains were all off. So Dundee fans either had to get buses or just stay in Edinburgh to be here for it. But in fairness to them, the whole contingent was there. Like it felt, as someone who was there, it didn't, there was no noticeable lack of Dundee fans. But it was certainly an interesting game to be at. And then it ended up being very well worth braving the conditions for. However, it did not feel like that at halftime because,
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't envy you at halftime, I'll be honest.
at halftime, it's one of the angriest I've seen my dad because he had to drive up
No
through the
wonder.
borders. And I know for a fact, right, if the weather wasn't as bad, he would have left at halftime. He never does. He never leaves early. But he was that angry. But he was like, I can't have driven up here in this weather
Got
for
to
that
make it
half.
worthwhile,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then, thankfully, he stayed because, yeah,
That
Dundee
was
travelled
pitiful.
down. And in that first half, especially, not a lot to go off. We'll say it like that, which is
Off.
becoming a trend for Heart and Midlothian in both the first half and especially at Tynecastle in the first half. Because
Yeah,
yes,
very funny that.
after about half an hour, there was some chances and all that, but 20 minutes in, there was a main chance for Dundee as Robinson heads towards goal and Clark makes a fantastic save, actually, which is kind of lost in all of this. Clark
Yeah,
makes a great save to claw it out, but
that
it
was the
doesn't.
warning.
Yeah, that exactly. And it doesn't go out of play and it stays in. It's swung back in to Bakayoko at the back stick, who just lays it off to Jordan McGee. That Jordan McGee then ends up scoring a ridiculous goal. However, it is very quickly flagged for offside. There's the way, but
Bring back the
immediately,
Juventus links. You can see why
yeah,
they were allegedly
exactly,
interested.
exactly. But you start going, oh, this is taking a while, actually. Hold on. And then, yes, the goal is given. And then, as if to make it any worse, 10 minutes later, Dundee double their lead after Alex Cochrane playing the worst game of his Hearts career. And it was only 45 minutes.
By a mile.
Like, I don't know what he's doing, but he goes for a crossfield switch to Lembikisa. It's short, it gets cut out, and Lyle Cameron scores Dundee's second.
Previously, Hearts linked Lyle Cameron as
Yes.
well, just to add further salt into the wounds.
Exactly. You were watching
Cool
at home.
finish. I was.
What were you thinking at halftime?
I can't find another game to watch. No, look, it was yeah, no, not great. I, I don't look. I know that we're on a great run, right? But there are parts of our games where I think if this wasn't us, I wouldn't be remotely arsed about this game. Like it just would be getting patched because it's just. Don't get me wrong. I think our play style will come together eventually,
Yeah.
but it's fine whilst we're grinding these results out. I dread to think of the reaction from the Dundee match in particular had we not done what we did.
Yeah.
Um, but yes, I certainly did not foresee that in a million years. I thought it'd be kind of a textbook Hearts performance where we'd batter the door down but not really look like scoring, and it just I had the fear that that was going to be the case from pretty early on in that second half. To be honest with you,
Well, I was the exact same until what turned out to be the pivotal moment of the game happened in the 56th minute, where Benny Beningame, who amongst all this positivity that we've had in the last 2 weeks, hasn't, to put it politely, Benny hasn't been one of the positives that everybody's been listing.
No, I'm his biggest fan, but
Yeah.
even I have to concede that he's been off the boil, let's just
Yes,
say.
we'll say that. And basically, much like in the first half, Aidan Denham came off hurt. However, he was thankfully back on the bench for Aberdeen. He seems okay. Benny Beningame comes off hurt. And with 40 minutes left, making his Tynecastle debut, Macaulay Tate comes on. And apparently, he's the best player in the world. Because as Naismith, and I really appreciated this about Naismith, Naismith was so sure to mention in every media interview he did following the Dundee game, was it took an 18-year-old to come on and start telling everybody what to do. How good was Macaulay Tate on that
He
Tuesday night?
he was phenomenal, McIver. And look, there's a long way to go in that young man's career.
Yeah.
I don't want to, build him up to high heaven just yet, but in terms of Tynecastle debuts, as you say, that could be right up there. That was unbelievable. I think it's brave from Naismith, particularly when we find ourselves in the position that we're in, to not call on a more established professional and give the young man a chance. And I feel like at Hearts it's so sink or swim that ultimately we see some players just not be up to it. But I guess because he's 18 years of age,
Yep.
he's not like, he'll have absolutely no cares in the world. Just go on. It's a great opportunity. Seize your opportunity with both hands. And he did exactly that because he was phenomenal. I mean, I've watched back a compilation that somebody made of, I think, every single pass.
Every pass he makes, yeah.
Unbelievable. Like,
it's ridiculous.
I've longed for a midfielder that plays the ball forward recently, and he did. He constantly looked to try and bring others into play. What an exciting prospect that we've got on our hands. But my issue is people immediately clamoring for him to start.
Yeah.
I feel as though it's got to be, cameos here and there. Let's not burn out.
It's not Harry Cochrane him, where it's just
Exactly.
right. He now has to play every game.
Don't burn him out early doors. Harry Cochrane and Anthony McDonald are your two perfect case studies, whereby we were at such a kind of a loss that they found themselves playing pretty much every week, and that can't be the case. We should have established professionals that these young players can learn off of. In my opinion, we should also have kind of a pathway whereby we kind of loan them out to, I mean, we mentioned them earlier, a Spartans or a League One team, a Championship team, and see them gradually sort of rise up the ladder, so to speak. So we'll cool it in terms of the Macaulay Tate height, but he was wonderful in that win. Really, really top performance.
Again, not bigging him up, but I saw someone describe him as the energy of Cammy Devlin, the winning the ball backness of Benny Beningame, and the passing ability of 2017 Peter Haring. But Hearts fans aren't getting away from themselves or anything like that. Not at all.
It's not like us to get carried away.
No, exactly. But within less than 2 minutes of Macaulay being on the park, he gets an assist. Literally gets an assist. Now, it's one of those assists that are a technicality because he's the last player to give the ball to someone who does something really good. But fucking absolutely, it's an assist. It doesn't matter how they come about. Sander Clark gets the assist for Shanklin's Derby winner just because it's a big punt, but it's still an assist. Macaulay Tate passes it to someone who has been under immense criticism. Since we've actually spoken, there was a manager's event thing where Stephen Naismith mentioned this man especially and said, everybody lay off him a bit. He's going to come good. And if the last two games are kind of be the rest of his Hearts career, Callum Neuenhoff has certainly shown that there is a player there because Macaulay Tate passes to him. Neuenhoff turns the guy and almost, I said at the time, the power he gets on it for the little build-up he has is incredible because he seems to take a single step and just pull it the ball from the edge of the box into the far left-hand corner. Now, his 3 goals in the A-League all came from outside the box. He only seems to score really good goals, but he hadn't done it for Hearts yet. It was his 17th appearance, first goal. We'll kind of speak about him more later on because I felt in the Aberdeen game he was actually even better. But it's just nice to see somebody who has been getting so much stick that I have never understood the level of stick getting at him. It's kind of been like, right, I'm one of the main reasons we get back into this game.
Can I be honest? I didn't want him to shoot.
Neither did I. I was like, don't fucking shoot. There's folk over there. Pass to them.
I hate it. Like, I'm the first to, and I will speak about a reluctance to shoot sometimes from outside the box later on. But there's players that I want hitting the ball outside the box. I didn't think Callum Neuenhoff was one of them until that Tuesday night.
Yep.
It's a sublime strike. I mean, it really is. It's a great first goal for Hearts. I was blissfully unaware of his exploits down under because I just hadn't done enough research, I suppose. But I didn't realize that he had that in his locker. So maybe when he receives it from range, I might be calling for it every
I now
every
expect it every time, Callum.
Do you remember that after Ozturk scored that goal at Easter Road, everybody was literally clamoring for it in like the most ridiculous positions, whereby like just step over halfway and everybody go shoot.
But then he did it the next week, which didn't help his case.
Yeah, yeah. We should have seen one from Callum Neuenhoff at the weekend. I don't
I
know what he's
know.
playing
What's
at.
he doing?
Maybe saving it for Dundee up at Dens.
Exactly.
But yeah, a great goal, and sometimes you just need inspiration from the most unlikely of sources.
Yeah.
And if you'd have asked me at halftime, I would have deemed him possibly the most unlikely source. So yes. A great goal.
Absolutely. There's only 4 kind of more points speaking about the Dundee game. The first one comes only 5 minutes afterwards. We get a penalty.
Wait, hold on a second. Are you overlooking Kenneth Vargas's absolute sitter in the first half that was thankfully called back for offside?
That's why I'm not putting him through it, right? Because it was a foul.
Sorry,
it doesn't matter.
Sorry.
It would, even if he'd scored, it wouldn't have been counted. So therefore, I actually did feel a bit sorry for him that they put that in the highlights and didn't really explain that it wasn't given as a foul.
Everybody just thinking, oh my God, that boy up front that Hearts have got is rotten.
Exactly. Shankland wins a penalty in the 62nd minute. And I will be honest, when we got it, I turned to my dad and was like, did we give him it? And everyone around me was like, yeah, you give him it. And then Shankland steps up, and after scoring his first 12 without missing, or 15, I can't remember how much it was, he has now missed 3 on the bounce. We will get to what happened then at the weekend when we get to it. But what's happened to him?
I don't know.
Is he just trying to show how rubbish he is to Rangers so he ends up staying here?
I hope so. What was it, 11 or 12?
I think it's 12.
And
I think it's 12,
now that's 3 on the spin. You get these numpties, but don't you, that are like, oh, it's obvious that, these teams have come in for him, his head's been turned, oh, he's thinking about the contract. Oh, I don't know. I don't care. These things happen. I don't know. Maybe he's just not feeling confident from 12 yards at the minute. I don't see why everybody has to make such a big kind of hoo-ha about it.
Yeah.
You're either confident when you step up to take a penalty or you're not. So it's just a lack of confidence. There's absolutely no doubt that prior to that Hibs game, he'll stepped up from every penalty thinking buried. He's now stepping up to penalties thinking, shit, I've missed my last one, or I've missed my last 2. I have to score this. And then you put such pressure on yourself to score. Then what happens when you don't score? Right, okay, I'll do the reasonable thing and come off them. But I don't know. He doesn't need them, does he? Let's be honest. I mean, it would just be embarrassing everybody else in the league if he was tucking them away. So he's probably trying to spice up the Golden Boot race, because he'd have won it by now had he scored those pens.
Well, interesting you say that, because as we're speaking, one of his main competitors has just scored a penalty of himself, of his own. Majowski has put Aberdeen 1-0 up as we speak from the penalty spot. But
It's really horrible that I wanted Dundee to get a result, isn't it? It's a conflict of emotions.
And no, I didn't give a fuck. Aberdeen can do whatever they want. They've got
Yeah, I
Robson still in
suppose.
charge. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, this keeps him in a gig
Yeah,
temporarily.
exactly.
Nice.
Then one of the people who was kind of just viewed as an unbroken positive from the 90 minutes, even in the first half, it was also his home debut. He gets his first goal as Alan Forrest, who, by the way, should never have been dropped. I don't know why
I
Forrest was
agree.
dropped. And now Forrest
Wholeheartedly
is
agree.
one of those first names on the team sheet completely. Does
Second
incredibly
that.
well to get to the byline, crosses it in, and it's met by a fantastic header by the debuting Dexter Lembikisa. Now, of course, the last episode we just signed him, and we were being like, oh, I wonder what he's going to be like. That'll be interesting. I don't think anyone could have predicted how well he started.
No, he looks a real prospect, doesn't he? 20 years of age. Yeah, I've got it. It's yeah. I see Hearts fans already being like, don't want to fall in love with another loanee. A boy that's down here actually, Rab, he's studying at UWS and he's a fellow Jambo and he was round watching the game and Rab's going to be devastated when he leaves. And I can see why. Because he looks a top player. I has to start over Atkinson for me. I'm just so
Yeah,
pleased that finally we've taken on a right back and it looks like just a total upgrade. What
yeah.
a player and what a career! If he's another who could hopefully keep his feet on the ground and make a real career for himself.
And it's such a good header as well. It's not just he kind
A
of
great
hits it,
header.
he powers it down towards the corner. Really well done. And at that point,
Sorry, McIver. After that cameo at Spartans as well, everybody
yeah,
I think most were wanting him to start against Dundee, myself included.
yeah.
And another Tynecastle debut that was a very impressive one. Yeah,
I will say, I actually thought for as bad as we won the first half, Dundee were also good.
they were
Like
good.
it wasn't just a, oh God, we're shite and they're taking the chances. It was like, oh no, they're good. However, in the second half, they just massively
Crumbled. Yeah, it
crumbled,
was it
fell
was a it
apart.
was a it was a capital collapse. I think I don't see any reason why Dundee can't finish top six, and
Yeah, no,
that's
yeah,
mental to say, isn't it?
it's crazy.
Obviously, I know they're getting beat at Aberdeen, but
But they
that's
never
going to be
win at
tough.
Pittodrie. They're like us, so
Oh,
it
the
doesn't
record's
matter.
terrible, but that could be a tough game for us at the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. However, hopefully we'll have more of the same of what happens right at the end of this game. As
Absolutely.
substitute, Yutaro Oda is found by fellow substitute Alan Forrest for his second assist of the night, who just in a like on a dime spins and swings his boot at it. It takes a slight deflection off Joe Shaughnessy. I think people are
I
kind
think
of,
it's a classic hit and hope from Oda. I'll be
oh yeah,
honest.
that's fair, but it's good as opposed to one of the
Oh,
criticisms from Oda is that he kind of takes too much time a lot of the time.
100%. Shoot on sight. If we're
Yeah,
in that general vicinity, then you're as well having a pop. As you rightly said, they were on the ropes. So
yeah,
you're as well trying your luck. Even if you get a rebound or something. Not hit and hope, but certainly
no,
at least try and work the goalkeeper or
yeah,
make things happen. And thankfully our substitutes did that. You mentioned Tate, Forrest as well, excellent when he
yeah.
came on. And then Oda grabs the winner. So really, really pleased with the substitutes and their contributions.
So it just ended up actually being an amazing night. Obviously, right at the very end, the 92nd minute, Forrest tapped in at the back post, but it was offside. And yeah,
Sorry, Lauren Shanklin summed it up perfectly in the Utaro, the
yes, it
celebrations.
did.
Thank fuck for that. That was
Yeah,
literally my exact reaction as well as
yeah.
I saw that Oda effort nestle at the
Because
top
that is
corner.
the thing. As you say, he'll have been thinking when Lembikisa equalises, he'll be going, we should be winning now.
Yeah,
If
oh,
I'd scored my
100%.
penalty, we should be winning.
Everybody overlooks the mental aspect, myself included. I used to be one of them, but now you get to know players and you know their psyche
Yeah,
and what goes through their head on a match day. There will be nobody more relieved than Lauren Shankland, I can assure you.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
maybe tied up there with me and you.
Yeah, probably actually. Yeah, exactly. So that was our game in hand over everybody, and it meant that we were just continuing to build momentum, build a gap in third place. But the main challenge, despite their poor form as of late, was always going to be the game at the weekend. Aberdeen coming to Pittodrie. I think Tynecastle. We never went to Pittodrie. They never win at Tynecastle, but every time they come to Tynecastle, my brain goes, that has to end at some point. And then,
That's what I tell myself when we
yeah,
head up there.
yeah, true. I then remembered that the last time they won was also a very pivotal day in the history of Hearts because it was the last game of the old stand. They beat us that game. So when I realised,
They not won more recently than that.
I thought it was 2017.
Oh, I thought that was a 1-0 and the last one was 2-1. I think they won twice in that season, though.
Maybe. But that season anyway was the last time.
Either way, I think Laurie said it 20 games
Yeah.
since the away team has won. Is that right?
Yes. Crazy. And when I
Mental.
see that it's the game we're celebrating our 150th anniversary on, I'm like, this is it. This is the most
Textbook
Hearts
Hearts in it,
thing.
yeah.
Exactly. However, before we get into that, we will go around the grounds because it was one of those rare Scottish Premiership weekends where everybody's playing on the same day. There's no other
Yeah,
games.
I don't know what that's all about. Is that just FA Cup or what?
Maybe. I'm not
Don't know.
sure. It's a good point. But so St Mirren and Rangers was the early kickoff. Rangers narrowly getting the best of Stephen Robinson's team in Paisley. And then Celtic continuing that trend as they narrowly got the best of Ross County at home with an incredible double penalty save by the Ross County keeper from Palma. Just mental. We will get on the hour game. Then what's going on at Hibernian Football Club as they were 2-0 down to Kilmarnock inside an hour. However, a red card happens and they draw it back. However, Hibs fans are as angry as they were as if they got beat.
That's pretty much the perfect outcome.
It was every Hearts fan, if they were being realistic, went, you want a draw. I think we'd all get over it pretty quickly if Killy won. It would be, oh no,
without
7
a shadow
points.
of a doubt.
But then actually, yeah, that's the dream. 2-2, take
And
that.
it keeps them angry. So
exactly, it was perfect.
Who doesn't want that?
Livingston are relegated from the Scottish Premiership as they lose 4-1 to Dundee.
They're also getting beat 1-0 at home to Ross County. If they do lose that, it's currents. I think it already is, but
yeah,
that really is currents.
And then Craig Levine's St Johnstone were held 1 each against Motherwell, a team that I have no idea how to view anymore. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how good they are. What did you make of the other games?
Yeah, it's simultaneously great and not to be back writing about the Scottish Premiership. Rangers, Cyril Dessers does not deserve the criticism that he gets. I'm going to come out and say it. I'll be honest.
You're going for it.
I would really like to see them give him a chance and lay off other strikers, particularly playing in Scotland, unless it's Bojan Miovski. Yeah, great. Oh, who cares? Celtic, I expected to batter Ross County, given there was about 20 debutants in that team.
Mm-hmm.
The goal is the ugliest winning goal I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yep.
The penalties were hilarious. And Jan Danda was really good. So that's given me a barrel load of encouragement.
Yep.
Kilmarnock's collapse was great to see, but when it comes at the expense of Hibs, is it really? As you say, keeps the fans angry enough, so we'll take it.
And it gives us the biggest gap to move forward.
Yeah, it was a good result, all things considered. What did you make of Corey and Daba's red card?
I think it's a red. I don't even understand the controversy around it. Like the ruling isn't anymore that, oh well, he got the ball. It's like it doesn't matter.
He injures himself in the process as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, like
which tells you everything you need to know.
His studs go upwards into, is it thingy's ankle?
Tavares, is it?
Tavares, yeah.
Tavares, yeah.
It goes like his studs are facing upwards, goes into his ankle. Of course, that's a red card. Like absolutely.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah, just quite amusing on all fronts, really. This was very much a weekend of those scoring against their former clubs. Because St Johnstone, Motherwell, Theo Bair, absolutely hopeless at St Johnstone, and yet actually looks all right for Motherwell. Is it just me, or like
it's weird? He's at least really effective when he's not scoring.
Yeah, yeah. He just gets himself about, and I don't know. It looks a nuisance. Dundee, yeah, as you say, look pretty solid.
For the first time in our lives, it feels like they look competent. Which you can never really describe Dundee teams as competent previously.
Absolutely. And for for the first time in a long time, Livingston look very incompetent
Yeah,
and they will rightly be relegated. Um, so yeah, a pretty bizarre weekend, all things considered.
yeah.
Particularly when the Old Firm win narrowly, and there's two draws in there. But yeah, we took full advantage, which is nice. Again, doesn't happen a lot.
Again, a
So
rarity. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
we take
So
those.
Aberdeen travelled to Tynecastle knowing that if they lost, that would mean by Saturday night they would be 19 points behind us in third. Now, obviously, they've got some games in hand as they are currently playing right now.
Annoyingly, they're winning one of them.
Yes, but they then have
Oh,
to play a back to what's happened.
sorry, I shouldn't say this as we're talking about Aberdeen, but Livingston have actually found an equaliser, so there may
I'd
be
love
life
it if
in the
Livy
old
beat.
dogs yet.
I'd love it if Livy beat Derek Adams. It would just be the
Scott
greatest
Pittman
thing.
right on the verge of half time. Sorry,
Love
continue.
that. Aberdeen are in a weird position right now where you look at their squad on paper and you go, that's a good squad. They should be doing good things. But then you look at who's in the dugout and you go, oh, that fucking clown's there. Right, that will explain why. But we lined up in the formation, which was a big talking point, that we finished the Dundee game with. We reverted away from the 3/5-3-2 and we
Thank the Lord.
changed to a 4-2-3-1. Very simple. And it was Xander Clark in goals. Cochrane came back in at left back. Lembikisa was at right back. Kent and Craig Halkett was dropped for Stephen Kingsley. I don't think many people were complaining about that
That would have
after.
been my back four of choice,
Yeah,
100%.
very much take that. Benny Beningame came back in after he had to go off injured alongside Callum Neuenhoff. Then there was a front three of Alan Forrest getting back into the starting lineup. Yutaro Oda on the right, George Grant in the number 10 behind Shankland. You seem, much like I was, very happy with that starting 11.
Yeah, I was. Primarily because of the setup. Again,
Yeah.
the back three, there's absolutely no need for us at Tynecastle playing anybody to be having a back three. Although I said about Spartans and Dundee, I I'm owe a few people an apology. Namely Mr. George Grant and namely Rab, who I mentioned earlier, who's a big George Grant stan, and our other uni mate Luke. So I apologise for my criticism of George Grant. It's nice to see him turn up after
Mm.
approximately a year and a half at the football club, 400 grand in waiting. But yeah, it's I'm calm, mate. All's well in my world now. So yeah, it was nice to see such an attacking intent from Heart Midlothian. Albeit again, such a slow and sluggish start, which for the life of me, I can't comprehend with said setup.
Well, this was the thing. When the game finished, I tweeted, I feel like this is going to be the review of 23-24. Murder in the first half, magic in the second half. Because what's going on? Why is this a
I don't
continued...
know. Is there like some sort of time castle anxiety that we don't know about?
I don't know.
Why? It's so strange. Hearts are so incredibly annoying.
You want to know a fun stat?
How can we correct a waveform, which has been an issue for as long as I've been alive, but it comes to the detriment of our whole form? We've always been, relatively speaking, solid enough at Tynecastle that we pick up the odd couple points away and it usually masks what is frankly an abysmal record away from home. Yet this season, we've been really good on our travels, but can't replicate that in Gorgie. And it's thrown me off. I'm really concerned and I don't know what to do with myself.
So I'm
Sorry, your stat?
gonna get this up. So in the league, we have scored 29 goals, right?
Okay.
In 23 games. How many of those goals do you think have come in the first half at Tynecastle?
Oh, oh Jesus,
I
there's
will
a
tell you
question.
the answer is not zero. I'm not going to reveal that it's nothing. We have
I can,
scored goals in the first half.
I can only think of Alan Forrest's goal in the derby.
Are you going with one?
It's got to be more than one.
I can tell you it is more than one.
Is
I
it
can't remember any of them except Alan Forrest's, but
is
it
it
is more than one.
three?
Three is the correct answer.
Oh,
I can't remember how many home games we played this season. I think it's about 12, I think we've played 12 home games, and this is obviously not including the cups because we scored. How many goals did we score against Partick Thistle in the first half?
Oh, two?
Two, I think. Maybe those are the three, actually. I don't know if it's in all comps
No,
or if it's.
Jesus.
I'm not
What,
sure. I
those
just
two
saw the
in
stat.
Forest's goal?
Yeah, I just saw the
That
stat.
can't be right, surely. I'm going to go on and do some digging. You keep talking.
Right, that would be interesting. But yeah, basically, something is wrong with Heart of Midlothian in the first half at Tynecastle. And that was evident as Aberdeen, who I do understand it, people were saying on Twitter, Aberdeen couldn't even draw that game. A draw was seen as a bad result. So they were always going to be the team coming at the traps, fit and firing, pushing forward. But they very much were, because 20 minutes in, Clark catches quite an easy header from McGrath, but it was symptomatic of that opening 20 minutes because you were thinking, right, they're starting much livelier. We're not really looking on it. And then a minute later, Aberdeen break through Connor Barron. Benny appears to fall as the ball is given to Majowski, who scores a good finish past Xander Clark. However, you can tell by the immediate reactions from the squad, namely Stephen Kingsley, Frankie Kent, and Alex Cochrane, ironically not Benny Beningame, those three and Xander Clark, actually, sorry, are going absolutely mental at Kevin Clancy, pointing at a rough area of where Benny was and claiming it's a foul. I'll be honest, as it was happening, it just looked like from where I was that Benny fell. I was just like, oh, Benny's fallen, fuck's sake. However, it does actually go to VAR, and then after a wee while, you see it back. Majowski, whilst there is absolutely zero intent in that, does trip Benny Beningame, and as a result, the goal is ruled out. Now, as I was
Correctly.
padding for time there, have you managed to find out
Yes.
how many goals?
Yes, I
Right.
have. Sorry, I was listening to your discussion because can I give my thoughts on the Miovski goal before I
Go with
go
that
the thing?
first, yeah.
Um, I didn't think it was at first glance.
Yeah.
I was very relieved. I thought that Kingsley had actually tripped Benny up.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Um, and we got away with one, but then you see it, and it's soft, but it's a
But it's a
definite foul,
foul.
and I'd be raging.
It's funny how Aberdeen fans are acting like there's no contact and how
Oh,
it's a massive conspiracy.
now it's no, well, exactly. You literally just stole my word. I was going to say conspiracy. We've got our three.
Right?
So Hearts 2, Aberdeen nil on the 16th of September. Utaro Oda
Of
scored in the
course.
14th minute.
Yeah.
The next one was Forest Worldie
Yep.
against Hibs. Needless to say, we won't talk about the rest of that match.
Yep.
And our most recent one was, in fact, just last month,
Was it St
23rd of
Mirren?
December, St Mirren. Yes, Lauren
Ah,
Shankland with the goal.
right.
So yeah, three different scorers: Oda, Forest, and Shankland, and three different opponents: Aberdeen, Hibernian, and St Mirren. There we go.
I think I saw a stat where by this time in the season that we finished third, we'd scored 19 first half goals after 23 games or something like that because
Jesus.
it was unbelievable. But yeah, that should have been the wake up call that never really came because Benny loses the ball in the middle of the park about 5 minutes later. Aberdeen breaking a 4-on-3, and actually Polvara misuses it a lot. He just goes for an early hit despite having Clarkson, Majowski, and
He's an
Barron.
athlete, isn't he, that Polvara? He's never a
Yeah,
footballer.
he's an American coming over here.
Yeah.
They're all really athletic, but none
Yeah.
of them have footballing ability. Love
I
you,
agree.
Perry Kitchen. Neuenhoff, Shankland, and Grant link up quite
Captain
well.
America.
Yeah, exactly. Love them. They all linked up well, but Grant's effort goes out for a goal kick. Although I've watched the highlights numerous times,
Oh,
and in
that's
the
never a
game,
goal kick in a million
it's
years.
so clearly a
He's
corner.
rightly raging. You could see the deflection a mile off.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Shocking officiating, but then again, it's something that I would never criticise.
Yeah, exactly. In the 42nd minute, Oda is fouled on the edge of the Aberdeen box.
Does
Kingsley,
well.
he does well. Oda actually got two big fouls because there was that, but earlier in the half, he got Graham Shinney booked, which completely broke
Derailed Aberdeen.
Graham
Yeah.
Shinney's entire plan because Shinney for the first 25 minutes was running the game completely. And it was just like, oh, now he's booked, he can't do it. So, well
That's
in your Taro
that's
order.
yeah, that's really annoying. I'm not keen on Graham Shinnie, but carry on.
Yeah, Stephen Kingsley takes the free kick and it actually just nestles on the roof of the net,
Not far away.
not a million miles away. And then the last action in the first half is Leighton Clarkson gets a free kick in a very similar situation, but his effort is far over the bar.
It's one of the ultras in the
Yeah,
front row.
exactly. So halftime comes, and once again, everybody
Abysmal.
is going, this is a nightmare. What's going on? We're being terrible. However, there was then no changes. And I think everybody, myself included, put it on Twitter going, get Benny Beningame off this park right now, please. But he doesn't. He doesn't actually change anything. Naismith said after the game that it was just a matter of changing the intensity and the decision making. When we came out in that second half with no changes, how were you feeling? Were you thinking glass half full? Well, we've got to half time at 0-0, which is good. We're normally better in second halves. Or were you thinking he's not made any changes? We're probably going to get more of the same.
No, I was pretty surprised to be fair. Obviously not at the game, but when you have a look at kind of folks' general opinions on Twitter, you know that it's not good. You know that Hearts have yet again been rank in the first half. So I'm surprised, given his tendency to change things up recently, that he didn't make any changes. But just goes to show what all the armchair coaches, myself included, know. So yeah, it's quite refreshing. I actually think you could sum this game up by what the two managers said post-match, McIver. I know that we'll talk about the rest of the game, but Stephen Naismith saying that we can get better, like that was evident after that first half.
Yep.
And Barry Robson saying, yeah, we're falling short of expectations because Aberdeen, he called Aberdeen a one city club.
When he meant to say a one club city. Yeah.
So I think my man was flustered there. But yeah,
I'm not going to give any excuses, but then just spends the rest of the interview giving excuses.
Yeah. I'm not going to give any excuses, but our goal should have stood, and it's a terrible decision. What? So I don't know what he's up to, Missouri Barry, but yeah, I guess you're right. We could do with them getting a result tonight to keep him in a job, but yeah. In terms of that first half, miles off it again. And do you know what? In saying this, like as much as we deem Robson a useless manager, they do have some talented players. Aberdeen. There's absolutely no denying you. That Miovski goal is a phenomenal finish. Albeit thankfully it's to their detriment that's ruled out.
Connor Barron kept putting in great balls all the time.
Shinnie,
I think Keller Rose is a good goalkeeper.
He is a good goalkeeper. Yeah, and Wee Clarkson obviously trying to make things happen that little bit further forward as well. So yeah, they've definitely got players that can hurt us. But thankfully, we sort of rode the wave, I guess. First half, really, there weren't that many opportunities, but
they only had one shot on target in the whole game.
Exactly. So it's more to do with us and what we didn't do in that first half. But thankfully, that was put to bed in the second period.
Well, that is the thing. Even from the first kind of 5 minutes, you could tell we were playing with more intensity, more desire. Forrest was making more of those runs that he does. And
I'm really pleased for Alan Forrest recently. I know if we'd have offered Alan Forrest a contract a couple of months ago, most of the fan base would have been absolutely fuming. But over the last few weeks, he's shown that he can actually come on and change games. So thoroughly deserved his start of the weekend for me.
I think he's got 5 assists in the last 3 league games.
Just McIver, just somebody to try and make something happen.
Yeah, he's very positive. That's the best that he's
direct. He'll at least,
direct's a better word.
He'll try and get like to the byline. He'll look for others. He'll maybe cut inside every now and then. He looks to conjure because obviously we've got players out that usually do.
Yeah.
And most of our midfielders are too feared to play the ball forward.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have somebody on the flank that can actually try and make things happen, which he does. I can't fault his effort at all. And over the last few weeks, he's earned that new contract. So I'm really pleased for him.
And he is the reason we take the lead in this game, because Forrest, in a near identical run to his assist for Lembikisa on Tuesday night, runs, hits the byline and crosses a ball in. And Nicky Devlin basically catches it in midair. It's right in front of me, obviously. Everybody screams for it. Somehow Clancy doesn't give it. The ball ends out for a throw-in. However, it goes to VAR. There's a check. and it's quite quickly given after he's went to the monitor and decided to give it. But as it was happening, they're all discussing, and everybody goes, does he take it? But very quickly, you physically see Shankland as the captain give the ball to George Grant. It answered the question I think a lot of people had of, if it's not Shankland, who is it that takes penalties? A lot of people said Grant, but then had always the adage of, but he doesn't play consistently enough to be on the park. He was in this case, and in terms of penalties, you can't really ask for a better penalty. Puts it high into the right-hand side of Kellerose's goal, the opposite way he dived. Grant actually explained in the last couple of days that he spent the first 50 minutes watching where Rose dived in the training and the warm-up, and every single time Rose dived to his right as Grant's looking at it the left. So Grant knew he's not going to dive this way, but he still, as you should do as a penalty taker, he still put height on it in case it was 1-0 Hearts. You could tell by the celebration from Grant, a lot of passion, which was good to see. He's clearly wanting to play, and as you say, he's finally starting to come into a bit of form.
To turn up, yeah. Again, like, maybe my criticism is harsh because, as you rightly say there, he's not really had a fair run in the team. And if he has, it seems like it's too deep. I feel like he should be in that 10 and trying to make things happen. It's an emphatic penalty. I cannot criticize the technique, and it's a postage stamp finish. Absolutely top. I thought that Stephen Kingsley might be up there for a penalty taker as well, because of obviously his technique and his connection that he makes. But yeah, maybe that goal can ultimately give George Grant a wee lift as well. So yeah, it's starting to come together, I think. I might have to swallow my words on George Grant, but given the money that we've paid, I'm not going to do so just yet.
That's very fair. And from that moment on, it was essentially defence versus attack. In the 4 minutes later, Alan Forrest
crumbled, didn't they?
Yeah, completely. They went into their shell. They stopped doing what they were good at in the first half.
I don't know if it's because of the disallowed goal or just, I don't know. Maybe there is something within these nonsense records that they can't play at Tynecastle. We can't go to Pittodrie. I don't know.
Alan Forrest hits a great effort from the edge of the box, but Kellerose pushes it out for a corner. 5 minutes later after that, Forrest and Neuenhoff link up really well. Neuenhoff ends up passing it to Shankland on the edge of the box. Kellerose makes another great save. Very much the reason...
That was a great effort from Shankland.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Rose was very much the reason that it was only 2-0 in the end.
Yeah, I even think the one from Forrest at the tight angles, pretty impressive stuff as well. Nice to see us having a pop.
Yeah,
I feel
absolutely.
Like recently there's been far too many times where we're trying to walk it into the net. Just somebody have a go. Even if you get a little spillage or, like I say, a rebound, anything. Make the goalkeeper work. Like that's what he's there to do. I don't think we test the goalkeeper, or we haven't, certainly in, I don't know, the past few months, seasons, anywhere near enough. Have a go.
Well, one person who definitely had a fucking go.
He's exactly who you want to have a go.
10 minutes later, Lawrence Shanklin picks the ball up, actually, when you watch it back, in the Wheatfield corner flag.
Such an ugly build-up.
Yeah,
just say it's
runs
so
around,
bad.
does like a weird mazy run, ends up...
Just a one-man mission.
Yeah, passing it to Cochrane in the air for some reason. Or I might deflect up in fairness to him. Cochrane then nods it down to Grant on the edge of the box, and Shanklin... And it's exactly what we've all been saying about him, and it's a testament to his ability. He's missed his last 3 penalties. You might understand why a player's been like, I'm not that confident. He physically pushes Grant out the way, edge of the box. Trivela past Rose. I was saying this at the game. I'd be shocked if you had this information on hand. And I'd be shocked if you could even find this information. James Shanklin's the first player in history at Heart of Midlothian to score back-to-back Trivelas. Because his last goal was Livingston, which was a Trivela.
Jeez, it must be then.
We've surely never had anybody do that.
Scott,
yeah,
London Hearts.
Come back. Just for that. It's ridiculous. You can see in his celebration, pointing at his foot, running backwards.
Oh, he
It's
knows how good he is as
unbelievable.
well, innit? You're like, oh, McIver. I'm
One
running out of superlatives.
one
I'm going to be
goal
so
away,
depressed.
one goal away from making history, becoming the first Hearts man since I don't even think Robbo did it. I think it's Willie Bald to score back-to-back 20-goal seasons for Hearts.
No way.
It might be Robbo. Robbo out of everybody would have been the person to do it. But I think I saw a stat that it was Willie Bald was the last person to do it for us.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. And he's
That
one
wasn't
goal
yesterday,
away.
was it?
No, it wasn't. So
Jesus,
just
he is the striker that we've been gagging on
yeah,
for all of our primary school, secondary school, and
yeah,
teenage years. It's
literally our
yeah.
lives.
Oh, only a quarter of a century too late,
Yep,
Hearts. That's
literally. It took me to turn fucking 26 for us to get you in. Right, I see how it is. Have I got to wait that again next time? I'll be in my
oh, I
50s.
really hope not.
But just unbelievable. You see with this, and it's a it's buzzwords that Naismith has used a lot this season, but it's clearly true. The squad has such a togetherness. Grant just has a laugh with them as he runs to celebrate. There's no anger or anything. That is Grant. Grant on Saturday gets a goal and an assist.
Yeah.
Again, one of those technical assists because he touches it and then Shankland pushes him out the
Exactly.
way.
That's what I was going to say. Like the naked eye sometimes tells you more than statistics do.
Yeah,
But you can watch Lawrence Shankland and you know that he's just a top player.
yeah.
I'm going to be so depressed when he goes.
Well, that's a perfect segue
Better not be
because
this bloody window, I tell you.
that was basically the end of the game. Macaulay Tate and Vargas had a nice link up.
What about wee Vargas trying the Travella
He
a couple
tries
minutes
to do
after
it.
Shankland?
It's so good. It's just
I
like I'll
love
do it
that
as
guy,
well.
man.
It's fine.
Oh, he's absolutely nuts. I
Yeah.
love him.
We win the game 2-0. Ends up being incredibly comfortable. 9 games unbeaten in all competitions, 8 in the league, 7 of those wins. The one draw probably should have been a win if Alan Forrest gets that penalty against Ross County that he should have got. An unbelievable run for any team in this division to go on outside of the Old Firm, but especially us, just because we never do this. Even
I
though we
was going to say,
should.
because it's us.
Yeah, we should do it more. 14 points clear of Hibs, 19 clear of Aberdeen, 10 points clear on the same games played to 4th position, Kilmarnock. It's going so well. However,
Really well.
we are obviously recording this on Tuesday the 30th. There is, as we speak, 26 hours left of the January transfer window. And as it stands, Lawrence Shankland is still a Hearts player. Now, the most Heart of Midlothian and Perth to Paisley podcast thing ever will be that at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, it is announced that Lawrence Shankland leaves, and this whole segment we're about to do is completely pointless.
Dare.
Here, however, before we get to him, because he is the talking point of the whole window, we will recap the window generally that we've had. So, there has not been a lot of arrivals, putting it mildly. There has been one, Dexter Lembikisa, as we've spoken about.
That's okay.
Yes.
I'm not pleased, but equally I'm not dissatisfied.
Yep.
I wanted a right back. We've got a right back. He's an upgrade on Atkinson. I'd like some creativity. That's to come in the summer, but I'd like a little stopgap to see us till then.
Well, the potential stopgap is a bit of a weird one, as between the last episode and this episode, we've been introduced and had to wait for Scott Fraser of Charlton, former Dundee United. We don't really know what's happening. He was up here, had his medical papers passed, but then Charlton sacked their manager, and
Mike
it changes.
Appleton lost his job. That's right.
It changes everything. So we don't know.
I think he played with Liam Boyce at Burton Albion as well.
He did indeed.
So that's nice in terms of a chemistry. That's provided that Liam Boyce actually ever plays for us again.
Yeah.
Where is he? I'd love to see him back in this team, but it's just not happening at the minute. We
don't know what's happening with Scott Fraser as we stand.
We don't. The addicts sacking their boss didn't help, but hey, that's just annoying and one of those things.
Yes.
He wants to come back up the road, though, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Apparently, he wants to come back up to Scotland.
That would be that'd be a bonus.
That
Let's
would
try
be
and make it
good.
happen.
One creative player that we definitely know is coming to Gorgie, but just probably not just now, as he is currently playing and captaining his side
Oh,
against
please
Livingston.
say Andanda.
Yes, basically. After we have been pushing it for about 18 months, it feels like, maybe even longer. Hearts have finally got on Spotify, listened to us, and we have signed Jan Danda on a pre-contract coming in the summer. However, we're trying in this last 24 hours to get it over the line. The reported fees, I've seen anything as low as 100k. I've seen something as high as 350. We don't know what the reported fee is. It doesn't look like we're going to pay it though. But we've secured the services of a player you and me have been wanting for ages.
Hope it's a Barry Mackay or a Lauren Shankland and not a Andy Halliday or a Gary Mackay-Steven.
I know it's all I'm thinking about.
Yeah, no, it's creativity is what I'm craving. Really happy with that. I I get the impression that Hearts haven't actually announced it yet because
We're
they
trying to
might
see if
look
we
to do
can
it this
get him.
window.
Yeah.
Which would be nice. But again, it all depends what Ross County want. I think it'll be very much like the Suter situation, though, in by they'll want to secure their survival and they feel as though the best chance is with Jan Danda still playing
Which is
for Ross County.
understandable.
Perfectly understandable. I'm more than willing to wait in the summer on the basis that we can get somebody in. If it's not Scott Fraser, then perhaps we can go to, I don't know, some other Premier League club.
Yeah.
Like, can Davy Weir not do us a favour at Brighton, or
There
I
must
don't
be
know.
somebody.
We've got some little relationship with Everton now. Could we not tap them up? They must have somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly. But we don't know what's going to happen. Another linked player is Penrice at Livingston, where we are continuing the trend of just taking good Livingston players on pre-contracts. Craig Halkett, Alan Forrest, and now the latest is Penrice.
Nicky Devlin. Oh, wait, sorry.
Oh,
no,
wait,
wait.
it's
No,
fine.
yeah, sorry, we missed that one.
It's fine. He's shite anyway. He's no Dexter Limbikisa. Who cares?
Yeah, well, that's true.
There has been mixed reaction to this. Nothing against Penrice. I've not seen anybody be against the Penrice signing in
I
and
think
of
he's a decent
itself.
player. I've been told that he signed a pre-contract. How accurate that is, I don't know.
We don't know. But what it potentially means is the other story that has come out this window. And it's that apparently, in as probably the summer now, I'd be very surprised if we let him go in the last 24 hours.
Oh, I'd be distraught.
Surprised is not harsh enough a word. Fucking furious is the word that I'd be. Is that Alex Cochrane, my favourite player, is most likely leaving the club in the summer.
We'll say that, McIver.
Obviously, we'll speak about it more as we get closer to it, but it's looking like a very pivotal summer, considering potential departures and potential league positions, and therefore the money that comes with it. So,
and duration of deals left, and
it's going to be a very important summer, but
we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Exactly.
Just enjoy them while they're here.
And then before we get on to the big one, we've actually had quite a few departures this January.
Yeah.
Because first of all, the two that aren't maybe as talked about is one, Michael McGovern's went to Livingston.
Great debut from the weekend.
Yep, exactly.
Jesus.
Like, fair play to you.
Oh dear.
No idea what's happened to that. Alex Lowry had his loan spell ended by the club, and Clermont made it very clear that he did not want Lowry back. We sent him back. That's great man management there, Philippe Welling.
When I was at a Rangers presser, he was asked about that by my mate Adam, who works for PLZ Soccer, and he asked him about Lowry, and he seemed a fan, and yet all of a month later he's back, and now he's seemingly not so happy. It baffles me. This was my thinking. Why can Ross County not loan him?
I know, that's a good point.
And just give us Danda.
Yeah. Now, obviously, we see that
works for everybody.
He's out hurt for the next 7 weeks.
Yeah, well,
so that's potentially it.
That obviously plays a part.
Yeah. But there's 4 months left of the season. Anyway, we don't know.
I mean, Derek Adams says that Morecambe are 1,000 times better than Ross County anyway. So, or 100 times, or whatever the hell it was. They're miles clear of Ross County. So surely he can't be that willing to hold on to Jan Danda, no?
Yeah, 100%. Give us him. Derek, fuck you.
Grow up,
Anyway,
Deke.
the other two departures are actual departures in terms of not just loans or recalls. Andy Halliday has finally left. Technically on
Wait,
a loan,
I
but
mean, we touched on that last episode. You were obviously devastated.
yeah, that's oh no. And then the one that I think got a really weird reaction was it was announced that Connor Smith has departed,
Good move for him.
joined St Johnstone. A very good move. A very good move. Going to join Craig Levine. I don't really understand why there was such an outcry against it on Twitter. I get it. He's a youth player that's come through the system and never really got a chance. But and
Just like them all, McIver.
I say this as someone who I remember his debut when he was playing with Hickey and we had that double header of Celtic and Hibs and both of them played both those
That's right.
games. I remember being like, both of them look really good. Here's hoping. But then it was very evident quickly. It was like, oh, Hickey's actually ready for this level. Smith isn't.
But Connor Smith did have a good couple loan moves. Like
He
Queen's
did.
Park, I think he won their Player of the Year.
He was at
Like
Hamilton.
Hamilton as well. Yeah, it's annoying, it's frustrating, but I don't mean to be too harsh on the lad. But if it was going to happen, it should have, and it could have and should have happened by now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's my
Exactly.
it's my thing. Just go out and get some games. I hope for your sake that you prove us wrong, and
100%. That'd be
wish you
great.
all the best. That's all Hearts really need to say and look at it like.
Yeah. But then, yeah, the big one. Lawrence Shankland, in this window, has been offered 2 new deals by Hearts. The latest actually came this afternoon, where, by all accounts, he's been offered a new deal to become the highest paid player at the club in more than a decade, and the one today presented to him is 3.5 years. Now,
Hello.
hi,
Latest score at Pataudry. Aberdeen
2-0.
1, Dundee 1.
Oh my God, is it counted? Is it gone to VR? Are we fine?
It's come up on Fort Mob. I don't know who scored it yet, but on
Okay.
55 minutes. And it's one piece.
I'm on big Tony Dockery.
So there you go.
Now, I do not think Shankland will sign the deal. I think from a personal perspective, Shankland probably shouldn't sign the deal. As it stands this way, he has all the power, and I totally understand that's what he should do. I will be honest, though. I'm quite surprised we're still hearing that we're offering deals. My assumption was, at the start of this month, when we offered him that deal, that the board had kind of put all the eggs in the one basket. Kind of just went, here is the best deal we can possibly offer you. If you don't like it, okay, that's fair enough. But it seems like it's very weird. Basically, we've actually done quite well here with the negotiation, it seems like, which is a fucking rarity with this football club, right?
We've given ourselves some wiggle room.
Yeah. So, and you'd think that if Shankland in the first instance had just been like, no, I don't care what you offer me, I'm not signing, then we wouldn't be offering a deal. The
Yeah.
fact that we're going back with another kind of potentially suggests negotiation. Now, listen, I know that I'm a Hearts fan and I'm kind of putting my head in the sand going, you're telling me there's a chance, basically. I do not think he will sign the deal. However, the bigger point is, will he stay for the next 24 hours? By all accounts, we want, well, not even by all accounts. Andrew McKinley said via the club's official channels in an interview with Robert Borthwick, it would take an extravagant bid to take Shankland away in January. That was weeks ago when there was still enough time to get someone in. You have to think it will be minimum 5 million. But even now, we've only got 24 hours. That's kind of pointless to us because getting third is worth 5 million in and of itself. So if you get 5 million for Shankland, but then don't finish third, you're at a net zero. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. He's going to stay. I feel pretty confident that
I'm
he's going to
confident
stay.
he's going to stay.
I hope that's the case. I wonder if in said deal, Hearts have given an assurance that you sign this, we get more money for you. We'll wish you well.
There's a release clause in it of something.
Something.
Yeah. I think that's the dream setup for everybody. I'd take that. He still leaves in the summer, but we get value for money
sufficient
for
dough,
him.
and then look, could you hear fans saying, "Well, if we keep him for the duration of his deal and we lose him for free, if he fires us to 2 third place finishes,
yeah, I don't
it pretty
care.
much pays for itself."
Yeah,
and I get that, but by the same score, like it would be good to generate some
Yeah,
money from player sales. We haven't done it anywhere near enough for a club of our size recently. And I think it's the exact same with Alex Cochrane, to be honest. If James Penrice is coming in, that's a player that we can develop who's already performed at this level for a long
on a
time
free.
on a free transfer, weakening a divisional rival, albeit Livingston won't be here probably beyond May.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. It's business. That's the bottom line. I know that people don't want to view football as business, and I'm kind of in that same bracket. But if it's to Hearts' benefit, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here's hoping this wee bit doesn't get clipped up by opposition fans as Shankland is unveiled
That's the
at
fear.
Ibrox.
Let's just get to February the 2nd and Nunes
Yes,
still here. That would be nice.
exactly. So by the time that we next record, we'll play 2 games because I'll be honest, Adam was smarter than me. I forgot we've got a midweek game. So
It's all right, mate.
the plan is to record next Thursday, release on Friday. So we this weekend travel to Dens. I keep thinking about Aberdeen. Aberdeen is so in my head with Dundee affiliated. Travel to Dens, a place that we're basically got as good a record as Pittodrie, to be totally honest.
The goal stands, by the way. It is one
Get
each.
him.
Lee Ashcroft, I'm assuming it's from a corner because he's
Probably.
just got that. Yeah, just a massive scuff.
And then midweek we travel to Perth to play Craiglevein St Johnstone. How do you feel about both of those games? 2 locations that we are historically shit at back to back. But now we're good away from home.
Yeah. It's bizarre to be entering this somewhat confident.
We did
We'll see.
lose the last game at Dens though this season. One of the
That's
few
true.
black spots on the season overall.
That is true. And yeah, I felt we were due them one. So naturally, when we were 2-0 down to them at halftime at Tynecastle, I thought, oh my God, Dundee are going to do a league double over us. How embarrassing.
Yep.
But thankfully, that wasn't the case. It'd be nice if we could do the league double over them. Don't see any reason why we can't go up to Dens and win. Why not? And as for Perth, that was obviously the venue where Craig Levein lost his job as Hearts manager.
Yep.
It would be nice to have it the other way and Hearts come away with all 3 points in that one as well. And again, a recent record at McDermott. What have we won the last twice there? 3 times?
Yep.
Twice?
At least twice. I can think of the last
Opening day
2 times. Yeah.
and the Mackay in December, was it?
Yeah.
Twice, yeah.
Yeah.
So it should be 6 points from 6. I wouldn't grumble with 4 from 6. But absolutely no reason why we can't win these next 2. We're on a great run just now. Most informed team in the country in the Premiership. So let's continue that.
What are your 2 score predictions?
Dundee
With the
score goals.
With the squad as it is now, obviously it's different if we bring in Danda or Fraser or lose other players, but pretend the squad doesn't change.
I can see by a goal in both, maybe. I'll
I
go
think that's fair.
2-1 at Dens, maybe 1-0 at McDermott.
I was going to say exactly that, barring I can just never see us winning at Dens. I'm always more pessimistic. I'm going to say 1 each at Dens and 1-0.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Like I say, I wouldn't grumble with 4.
Yeah, that's very fair.
I'd like it to be 6.
Very fair. Right. It's been a bumper episode, and as
the end is near.
We finish it with a quiz. So we've got all the usual. We've got a true or false, got a multiple choice, and 2 normal questions. And then the who am I?
I'm way of time. We might have to try to fly through this.
We need to fly through it. Right. So I will say,
come on.
It's very much based in the last 3 fixtures kind of thing.
Okay.
So it should be relatively straightforward. So the first question is, only 2 times, as it has been heavily publicised in the last week, have Hearts had more points than we currently do now after 23 games this century. But what seasons are they? And how many points in each season was the difference at this point?
God.
Now, I'll tell you this. If you can get either the points or the season of each one, I'll give you it. So if you're like, you can't even mind the season, but you can remember the points.
Can I have a look at the table and see what we're currently on?
I can tell you what we're currently on. We're currently 42? On 42 points. Yes.
Yeah, right, okay.
tied with where we were with Robbie Nielsen's season 2 seasons ago when we finished third.
Wow. Okay. Right. One of them, I think, is 2010-11
Correct.
under Jim Jeffries.
Yep.
How many points was it different? Do I get like one either way?
I'll give you one either way, yeah.
I feel like we were a sole point better off. 43. Is that right?
Incorrect. We were 6 points better off in 2010.
Wow.
We were on 48 points at
After
this point.
23 games?
After 23 games.
Bloody hell.
Yep.
There really was a title charge till
Kevin
Kyle
Kyle
got
and
injured.
David Templeton and Kevin Kyle just smashing it.
Wow, I didn't think it was as high as that.
Yep. So you've got 1 out of 2 points for that season.
The other's got to be 05-06, is it?
Correct. How many points difference?
Christ. Surely it would be mental if it didn't exceed 2010-11. It's got to be because it was a better season. But was it because Rangers underperformed and we finished second that you're lured into thinking that it... I'll go for... I feel like I'm tricking myself here. I'm going to go for 45.
I said I'd give you. I said I'd give you if you were a point either off. You're 2 points off, as it was 47.
Bastard.
47
that's so
points.
annoying.
But out of the opening potential,
46 because I was undecided on 2.
Out of the potential 4 points, you got 2 of them. You got the seasons, which were the big ones. So
yeah, that's annoying. I should have done my studying on the bloody points totals. But
we're sticking on points totals because, however, this is the multiple choice one.
Great.
I've just realised 3 out of the 4 questions are about points.
Oh my God, I'm done for you.
Multiple choice. Out of the last 39 possible points, how many have Hearts taken this season? Is it A?
Jesus.
Is it A 31? Is it B 33? Is it C 35 or D 37? He's thinking.
31?
Correct.
Yes.
He's got it. He smashed it.
Ooh.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you, mate.
Right. True or false? True or false? Hearts are closer to Celtic than Aberdeen are to Hearts before the Aberdeen-Dundee game kicked off.
Oh, what a question. How far? Oh, God.
See, points. Are you aware on what points Celtic and Aberdeen are on?
I think Celtic are on 61.
Right.
No. Oh.
Remember, we're on 42.
Yeah,
we're on 42.
Yeah, right, okay. So we've played 23. Celtic have lost twice because they've lost to us and to Killie. They've drawn with Hibs. Oh no, they've drawn with St Johnstone as well. So that would be 4. So they'll be on 61, 19, 2, 2. It's 23. Oh, God. I think we are closer to Celtic than Aberdeen are to us.
So you think the statement is true? Hearts are closer to Celtic than Aberdeen are to Hearts.
Yeah, I'm going to go true.
So, as has been documented in the past few days,
I don't like this.
Hearts are 19 points clear of Aberdeen.
Please tell me we're 18 points behind Celtic.
We are currently only 15 points behind Celtic.
Oh wow!
So even if Aberdeen win tonight, we'll still be closer to Celtic than they are to us.
Wow.
Celtic have played 23, won 18, drawn 3, lost 2.
3. So who are the 3 draws? It's
the 3 draws are and Motherwell. Right at the end, the 2 90-minute goals.
Jesus, of course it was. How did I forget that?
Yep. So
not bad though. My logic was
right
good.
though. You got it right.
Was good.
Yes. Right. Final
Execution was
question
wrong, but the
before.
logic was good.
Yeah. You still got the point, so it's fine. Final question for the Who Am I? We failed to mention it, but I knew we were going to come around to it, so it's
God.
fine. Craig Gordon made his return to football
Yeah.
against Spartans.
Uh-huh. It was nice to see him back in goal.
It was lovely. How many days were between Craig Gordon making his competitive debut for Hearts and his return against Spartans? I will tell you this. I will give you 100 days leeway either way.
That's very kind of you.
So you've got 100 days to work with.
Sorry, did you say his competitive debut?
His competitive debut for Hearts.
For Hearts.
And his return match against Spartans.
Right.
How many days between that was there?
Right. Let's try and dig the calculator out for this one. Right. Was it? Oh, I was going to say it was 2002, but I don't think it was as early as that, was it? Oh my God. Do your bloody research before you come onto this.
I've got it in days, years, and months.
There's there's 2 years in my head.
Right.
And it's either 2002 or 2004.
Okay.
So if I went for 2003, no, let's just not do that. That's silly. That's just silliness.
Remember, you've got 100 days.
I know, but what's that? A couple of months, like 3 months either way.
Technically, it's 6 months in total, though. You've got half a year of leeway.
Right. Okay.
I'll be honest. I was scrambling for the last question and saw this
thanks.
stat.
Can I take the calculator out?
No, you can't. You have to just do it.
Oh my God.
Actually, I'll even give you this. I'll tell you how many years it's been.
Right, okay.
It's been 21 years.
So that would suggest 2003. No, it can't be. It has to be longer than that. Right, let's just go for 2002. Let's just say 7,385.
The answer is 7,000. 700.
Oh, you bastard.
And 77. 7777. 21 years, 3 months.
Oh, wow.
And
All
15
the sevens.
days. All the sevens.
Oh,
7777. 21 years, 3 months, and 15 days.
Jesus.
He made his debut on the 6th of October 2002. Do you know how I know that? Because Hearts Heritage tweeted, Craig Gordon plays 7,777 days after making his competitive debut. Do you know how I saw that on Twitter?
Did I retweet off
the account? Perth to Paisley shared it on their account.
It actually goes to show how much attention I pay to some of the shite I share off there.
I was like, I'm going to
I even got a scrap of Hearts Heritage because I didn't read their tweets correctly. They posted about something like the last time that we'd come from 2 goals down at Tynecastle, and I went, what about this Motherwell one? And they were like, no, this is from 2 goals down. Or there was like some issue that I hadn't read correctly. So they made me look like a fanny. And I've made myself look like a fanny because I retweeted something and didn't bother to read what I'd retweeted. Yep. Just shows the spam that I shared. Yeah, I don't know why you follow. I'm sorry.
Shocking. Anyway, you did respectable there.
That was rubbish.
No, you got technically 3 out of 4 right. One of the questions had 2 extra questions.
You've thrown up some shitty questions in your time. That could be up there with some of the worst. That was horrible. Absolutely horrible.
Well, let's see what happens with the Who Am I.
Well, let's move. Oh, yeah, because it's going to get better here.
Right, so you've got 4 clues.
Okay.
In my career, I played in Scotland and England. I signed for Hearts in a January window after playing on loan in a lower division for the first half of the season. Despite playing over 60 games for Hearts, I only scored a single goal. And I left Hearts in the same window as 2 of Daniel's favourite Hearts players when he was wee. Who am I? And I think also...
How vague is that?
I think also 2 of your favourite players as well.
Okay.
I think. One of them, definitely. I don't really know how you feel about the other one, but I've never met a Hearts fan. I've never met a Hearts fan who doesn't like them.
Who is it? Stephen Presley.
Exactly, that's the reveal. Right, I
Oh
have got
my
this man's
God, that was
Wikipedia page up.
horrible. So they've exclusively played in Scotland and England.
Yep.
Can you repeat the clues, please? Okay,
Yes, of
that's
course I can.
grim.
In my career, I played in both Scotland and England. I signed for Hearts in a January window after playing on loan in a lower division for the first half of the season. Despite playing over 60 games for Hearts, I only scored a single goal, and I left Hearts in the same window as two of Daniel's favourite players when he was wee. Who am I?
Gonna have to ask for the years because no names popping in my head at all.
The years that this man played for Hearts were between 2001 and 2004.
Jesus.
You were alive.
I
That's the
I didn't
criteria.
even attend the Hearts game, but I was alive.
Yeah, I hadn't either. He left before I. Well, no, that's not true because he left in the summer, and my first game was in January '04. You'd been to games. You'd been gone for 2 years.
Yeah, yeah, when he left. The summer of 2004.
Is when he left. Yeah, June 2004 specifically.
Oh, great. So I've been coming up to 6.
Yep, there's an extra week.
Was it the 9th of June by any chance?
Let's find out exactly the day when it was. It was. Okay, for some reason, Wikipedia said, oh no, we announced it on the 11th of May, 2004. 9 days before my brother was born. So,
Oh, nice. I don't have a clue. Nobody's popping into my head here. Um, there's no point asking for the play position because no matter how shit you were for Hearts, 1 goal in 60 games would be a disgrace. So it has to be a defender. Has to be. But it's got to be a fullback because even a centre half would get more than one, surely. In 60 games, I'd expect more than one.
it's actually more than 60 games. I'll even give you that. It's 63 games.
Oh, will the clubs help? I think it might. Like it probably won't, but I don't have. I've got no names, no other reasoning to go off. Nothing. So can I have the list of clubs that they played for in order, please, Daniel?
Rangers Football Club,
Oh Jesus!
Hull, Dundee, Ayr, Hearts, Livingston, Boston United, Blackpool, Stirling Albion.
Is that it?
That's it.
Oh, I'm humped here.
Oh, wait, he played amateur football for Milton AFC in Bannockburn. Afterwards,
Magnificent. I know
after
exactly who
Stirling,
it is
yeah,
now.
that's it. That'll give you the information you need.
Signed from. So they were on loan at Ayr from Rangers.
That's what you believe.
Oh my God!
You want the clubs again?
Please.
Rangers, Hull, Dundee,
Oh, right, okay.
Ayr,
Wasn't the bloody question.
Hearts, Livingston, Boston, Blackpool, Stirling Albion, Milton AFC, Bannockburn AFC.
Who left Hearts for Livingston in the summer of 2004?
It's the question we often ask ourselves at night.
Can't sleep on this here Tuesday night. Well, do I have the question for you?
I will say, I did this way. Somebody I know who admittedly is a lot older than us, and he got it asking one question.
Yeah, well,
But
I bloody hope so. They could probably remember him
I was
leaving.
going to say, they were like 28, they were like our age when he left.
I don't have a clue. I don't have the foggiest. It's got to be some like random Scottish defender, isn't it? Like, Who the hell? It's Joe what's popped into my head is Jamie McAllister, and it's just not Jamie McAllister. So because I've got nobody else, I'm just gonna go with Jamie McAllister. Haven't the foggiest MacIver.
So, two things. One, he isn't a defender, he's a
Oh, really?
midfielder.
And he scored once in
He scored
60
one in
games.
63 games. Now, the weird way the world works. I
No.
picked this guy, right? I can tell you it's not Jamie McAllister.
No. Thanks.
I picked this guy just completely coincidentally because what I sometimes do for the Who Am I's is just type in a fixture that we've played the week before and put a random year behind it. Right? That's sometimes how I do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that for Aberdeen. And there was a random game in 2002. I can't remember what the score was. And this guy played in it. And I was kind of like, I don't even know who this guy is. I'll pick him. The one goal he scored for Hearts
Against Aberdeen.
was against Motherwell in
Oh.
2002 in the last time we came back from 2-0 down to win, sorry. In the same week that we've just done it, I didn't pick him because of it, even though his name was all over Twitter. And I was like, oh God, yeah. Because the answer is Stephen Boyack.
Who?
So he scored in the 4-2 win over Motherwell in September 2002.
Was
Where
that when McFadden scored and
yep,
who was it? Miller?
McFadden and
Who scored for Motherwell?
Lehman. No idea.
Nope. None.
But for us, Andy Kirk got a double, Mark De Vries, and Stephen Boyack.
No
Gary
idea.
Wales came on. Gary Wales came on for Andy Kirk. But to explain the clues,
I have no idea who that bloke is. I'll be
neither do
honest.
I. Neither do I. In my career playing Scotland and England, obviously you asked about the clubs, you got that. I signed for Hearts in a January window. He was on loan from Dundee at Ayr.
Oh, Jesus. How am I spelling his name? Step Hen.
No, EV.
E-V-E-N.
And then it's Boyack.
Boyack. Stephen Boyack. Who the hell is Stephen Boyack?
And then I left Hearts in the same window as two of Daniel's favourites. Him, the three, think of this trio. Andy Kirk, Scott Severin, and Stephen Boyack.
What a trio they are.
I loved Sevy and Kirk.
Oh my God.
I'm really sorry if you're listening to this, Stephen. I didn't have much affection for you when I was 7.
As a cost-cutting measure.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, how weird is that? I picked the guy that scored in the game that when we last beat a team from 2 goals down at Tynecastle without meaning to.
Oh, God. In October 2000, Boyack was loaned to Ayr United initially until the end of the season, but in January 2001, then Hearts manager Craig Levine put his faith in Boyack and brought him to Tynecastle for 50 grand, and he scored 1 goal in 63 games.
I don't know what type of midfielder he was. It just says midfielder.
Oh my God.
So I don't know if he was like a Benny or a
his,
Grant.
His stats look pretty honking.
Yeah,
sorry, Stephen. It's no wonder I don't remember you, mate.
Yeah, it's nothing personal, Stephen, but thank you for
nothing personal, but I've just got no idea who you are,
yeah.
So sorry, mate.
You've had no involvement in my life in any way. But let us know if you got Stephen Boyack. I was about to call him Richard Boyack. I can't even mind the guy's name. Sorry, Richard. Sorry, Stephen. I just keep calling him. Why do I call him Richard?
Who the hell is Stephen Boyack?
I don't know. Mate. But we hope you know who Stephen Boyack is. And if Stephen Boyack, if you're listening, thank you for your 63 appearances and 1 goal against Motherwell. It's massively appreciated. But let us know if you did get him, and let us know if you did enjoy this episode. It's a longer one, multiple games, transfer patter. It was always going to be. But if you did, please let us know on all the socials, Perth to Paisley @gmail.com if you want to fire us over an email. If you've enjoyed listening to this, please leave a podcast review on your podcast platform of choice. If you've been watching Adam flounder and try and remember anybody's name, never mind Stephen Boyack, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Adam, where can they get you on all the socials?
You can get me watching Boyack the Best Bits at Adam T. Kendo. Or what about yourself, mate?
It's a 3-second compilation as he scores against Motherwell. I am at DMcIver22. We'll be back at a later time next week to discuss all the fallout of the January transfer deadline day. Hopefully, Lauren Shanklin's still here. Hopefully, we're talking about some lovely wins on 2 away games. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Mouse!